What's happening, everybody? So today I'm gonna be doing all kinds of little stuff on the van. I've got the majority of everything set in place. It's pretty much putting everything together and working out all the fine little details. There's some stuff I didn't do before that I need to do now, but I'm gonna get this thing set up so that tonight I can sleep in it because I am just freaking ready to sleep in this thing. So yeah, let's get to work. Woo! So while y'all were gone, I went down to the Walmart and got this king-size pillowcase. And look at how perfectly this thing fits. It could not fit better than this. So I got two of them on here. I got it like doubled over, and this is just amazing. King-size pillowcase fits absolutely perfectly. I love it. The reason why I didn't wrap this in vinyl is because I didn't know if I could do it and make it look really good. And I wanted it removable and washable, which this king-size pillowcase does. And when it gets hot out, vinyl gets hot. And when it's cold, vinyl's cold. I didn't want that. I wanted something cotton to sit on that wasn't gonna burn or freeze my butt off. Oh, I got one other thing. Check this out. I got this thing. This is so cool. Look at all the storage I got now. This space was just totally wasted. It was just empty space. And this thing just popped into my head. Why don't I get one of those closet shoe things? And I can just store all kinds of stuff in here. And I had to cut it down. And the remainder of what's left, I'm gonna put on one of the back doors. Let me show you how I'm gonna do that. So this piece that goes on the back door, I still need to wrap this thing in vinyl, or glue vinyl to it. But I'm gonna use this this leftover piece that I cut off of the part that's hanging from the curtain rod and just fix it straight on. I'm gonna have to cut one more of these pockets off, so it'll be like this. But it's pretty much the perfect size to just stick on there, and then I'll have all the storage right here. When I open the door, I'll just have stuff right here. And there's enough room in here when I close the door. There's enough room in there back in here. Alright, so I've made sure the orientation of this board is right. It's facing up the way I want it to face up. So I think just cutting one of these levels off will leave the perfect amount of room. So I'm just gonna cut this thing. I'm gonna cut, these seams are double stitched, so I'm just gonna cut in the middle and try to make it as straight as possible, even though this piece of cloth isn't perfectly straight. All right, now it's cut down, and I'm just checking the fit of it. I think what I'm gonna do is glue this down first. See, it overhangs just a little bit in this corner, so I'm gonna just trim this down. I'm gonna glue it on first, and then I'm gonna screw it in. All right, so I've got this thing lined up the way I want it, and now I'm gonna take this blue tape, this painter's tape, which leaves no residue, and paint over the areas where I do not want to get a bunch of spray glue on because it will look really ugly and be hard to remove. So once I do this, I'm going to pull this thing off and spray down the wood and spray down the back of this, whatever you call this pouch thing. Kangaroo bag, that's what I'll call it. You know, when you live in a small space, you've got to make use of every area that you possibly can. Alright, so I cut out this piece of vinyl for here, and it's gonna go on just like this. And I gotta cut out the whole inside, and those are the strips I'll use up in here. But I think that the best way to hold this thing on is just to spray some glue on right in here and just set this thing up. And just set it down in, and then trim out the inside. And trim around the edges to make it the right width and everything, and then just go in and little by little spray it down and stick it on. Yeah, I can't really think of any other way except for magnets. If I had some really strong magnets, I could set them on here to hold this thing up, but I don't. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. But I'm gonna tape off this window with newspaper and that painting tape so I don't overspray onto it. All right, so I got this guy all taped off now, and I went around on the corners and used a razor blade and rounded them off real nice, and I covered the metal that's right here because remember I said I was going to use magnetic strips on my Reflectix to hold it in, and that'll totally seal it off and it won't allow heat to escape like it did before. I could feel the areas where it wasn't pressed up against the metal, the heat would escape through, so it's good to have the Reflectix sealed against the window like that. So this will be bare metal under this tape where that's possible to do now. See how I kind of put it on wet so that it was able to still move around. I realized with the piece of wood that goes on here with the kangaroo pouches in it, that I waited too long for it to tack up, so it was so sticky that I couldn't move it around at all. And since it's kind of wet, it gets little bubbles in it kind of easily. So you gotta just keep kind of working it out as the stuff dries. And just keep on it. See, there's a little air bubble right here you gotta kind of work out. You just keep working it and pressing it down so you get it exactly right. Now this actually would have been a cool spot to put some thin foam, but I don't have any, and I don't think it's really that necessary on this. I think it's alright just putting the vinyl straight on the metal. Alright, now I'm cutting out the inside part, and I'm leaving a little overlap so that when I put that piece of wood on here, it'll go on top of the vinyl and help hold it in, and it'll just look so much cleaner that way. So I'm just cutting until I get almost to the metal, so like out to here. Just leave it a little bit, it doesn't have to be too much. Alright, now I've got the middle part cut out. What I'm going to do is come in with the glue and spray down all of this. But you know what, these big holes, that's going to be really easy to see, so I'm going to go over that with some kind of tape. I think I'll use the metal tape, the Reflectix tape, and just go over these holes, because otherwise the vinyl is going to like sit inside of it, and you'll be able to see it really well, and it'll look really bad. Alright, so I got this bottom part, all the main part done. I still got to trim the edges, but the inside is good. So I'm just going to attach this, and you know what? Actually, this glue is so strong that I don't think I have to screw this kangaroo pouch onto this thing. I think I can just have it like this. So I'm going to figure out exactly where I want this thing. It's definitely a little harder to press in with all that vinyl in there. Huh. Once I get this thing how I want it, I'm just going to drill it in, and the bottom part of the door is done. I just got to do the top. Alright, I cut this a little long so that I could tuck it under this rubber seal. Check out how professional this looks. And by the way, had I cut this piece of wood while I knew how to make a super straight line with the jigsaw, it would have looked a lot better. I also could have sanded it down and prepped it a little better too, and it would look better. This thing, I don't think there was any way to get that perfectly straight, because it wasn't perfectly straight to begin with. Look at how good this looks when I tuck it behind the rubber seal. It just looks amazing. Alright, so I have this auxiliary oscillating fan here that I'm going to install, and it came with this cool little back plate. And I want to install this thing right up here, because that way if I put it here, I can draw air from up there to me and then back to the roof fan. But I can also crack open this window and have fresh air coming to me while I'm in bed or while I'm sitting in the bench. And I can flip this thing around, and if I'm cooking right here, I can shoot the fumes straight out the window. So this will be a good thing, and I figured out that I want it exactly right here. So I'm just going to screw this little plate that it came with. It also came with a clamp, but I removed that. And I'm just going to screw this thing up right here and mount this thing up. And I'm doing this before I put the piece of glue on that goes right here, because I'm going to hide the cable that goes with it with that. Alright, so now it's got this little remote control switch, and it's got two little tabs here to put screws in. So I'm also going to screw this up. And I think I'm going to do it over on this side so that it's easy to access. And I might just put it up right here, just like this. I think this would be the best way. Plus, when it oscillates, it'll still be able to do that freely. Let's see if I'll be able to turn it around. Yep, I'll still be able to turn it around. So yeah, that's a good spot for that. So I'm just going to screw this in real quick, too. Alright, check that out. So this thing actually came with a cigarette lighter adapter on the end. I'm just going to cut that off and integrate it into my fuse panel, which is going to run off my auxiliary battery. So it'll be, I'll be able to run it all night long with that. And the oscillating fan is so nice because it puts the cool on you, and then it takes it off, and then it puts it back, and then it takes it off and puts it back, so it constantly feels like you're getting cooler and cooler. Plus it provides a little bit of white noise, which is really important for me at least, when I'm trying to sleep. So this is a huge, awesome thing, and this thing uses less than an amp per hour, so this is a awesome little thing to have. Alright, so it's now the next day. I tried to sleep in this thing last night, but I could just very faintly smell the glue from this side of the door, and it made me nervous. So I slept inside, so I really want to start sleeping in this thing. So today I'm going to do all the glue stuff, all the rest of the vinyl, and then I'm going to set this thing outside for the rest of the day in the heat and let it bake. And yeah, hopefully the fumes will be gone in a couple days and I can start sleeping in it. So let's get to it. Alright, so I got my pieces cut out for this one. I'll put this one up high. This one goes here, that one goes there. Obviously, I got them all laid out. So, I gotta figure out how I want these things to overlay. Do I want, this might be easier. Do I want this one on top of this one, or do I want this one on top of this one? And I think I'm gonna go with this one on top of this one. So I'm gonna put this middle piece on first, and then overlay this one on top of the top. And this bottom piece. This one turned out really good, by the way. This totally looks like real leather. It's crazy. It looks so good. Man, I love this vinyl stuff. I love it. So, yeah, I'm going to do this one first and then these side ones. So I'm just going to spray some glue on the back of this. I don't like spraying chemicals up because they fall down, and they fall down on me, and I don't like that. So I'm just going to spray the back of these and then lay them up. Alright, so this one I pre-cut down to fit exactly how I want it. And now I'm going to eyeball it before I put it on. Alright, so this inside part stuck really well, but the glue out here dried before I had a chance to tuck it in. So I'm going to get something to stand on so that I'm spraying down and not up. And just spray this real quick and tuck it in. And then I'll go in and clean it all up. Alright, it seems like once you get this stuff on here, some of it's gonna separate a little bit. It takes a while for the glue to completely dry. So I found out on this bottom panel, you just go around this whole thing and just press it all down. And make sure it stays exactly where you want it. You know, it should only take a couple minutes of that. Like, see up here, there wasn't quite enough glue, so it's just a little bit loose. It'll be alright though. And like this corner, for whatever reason, keeps separating from itself. I'm actually going to trim this side down to match this side a little bit. It's easy enough to do. One thing that absolutely would help with this process is a really good pair of scissors. I'm using these crappy old ones, and it's just not doing the job. It's really slowing me down. Alright, prep work's done on this one. It's 97 degrees out here. It is so hot. I can't believe it. But the prep work's done. I got my piece that goes up here all cut out and ready. It doesn't go all the way to the bottom, unfortunately. This is the biggest piece I had left. It just wasn't quite big enough. So I'll have to cut another strip for the bottom. It's no big deal. So yeah, so I'm gonna spray the glue on the metal on this one because it's gonna be hard to spray it just where I need it and not on the middle, and I need this area unglued so that I can cut around it and cut this out. Alright, for this piece I'm doing a little pre-cutting because of this lock thing. I just want to cut it out a little bit. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. I'll go in afterwards and cut it out all the way. But I just want to make sure that this piece fits really well. And that looks perfect. Okay, yeah. So I'm just going to glue this and stick it on and then do this one and then probably go inside and eat something. I think I might actually call this a wrap for today's video. I think it's getting pretty long and it's hot as hell out here. I need to just like chill out and eat and cool off for a little bit. So thank you guys so much for watching. Love life. Woo!